This week's subject is about responsibility. And I wanted to cover the term responsibility because, well, quite frankly, very few people these days seem to be taking real responsibility for the situation they're in. And it comes not only from the economic challenges that people are facing. Everybody seems to be blaming the government or these people that gave bad loans or bad mortgages or people that ran up their credit card debt. It's almost like there was a third person involved in this whole economic scenario, both for the individuals and the companies involved, who were saying, well, it wasn't my responsibility, I was tricked or I was hoodwinked. Now, the chances are, I'm not saying everybody is an ethical business person, but the chances are you were the person that signed the agreement or agreements in any of the major decisions that you've made in your life. And if you weren't the person, you may to reconsider who actually is stealing your identity. And the point I'm trying to make is this, is you run a martial arts business, or you're at least thinking about running a martial arts business. And one of the real things that you have to become is responsible. Not only responsible in terms of the way that you act and the way that you are around the children that you're influencing and the parents and obviously the fellow adult students, but also in the responsibility in terms of the decisions that you make that can affect your business on a daily basis. So the big question is, who is really responsible? Because I speak to owners almost every day, and there isn't a day that doesn't go by where I have an owner that blames a member of staff or says that this person or XY person isn't performing as they should. Whose responsibility really is that? And certainly right now with our economic climate, I know there's certain large multi-chain owners who are really struggling right now, and they're claiming that it's somebody's fault. Well, the bottom line was, if you own a chain of schools or you own a single school with a single member of staff or 10 members of staff, the chances are you made the decision to hire that person. So guess what? Ultimately, you're responsible for not only the bad hiring decision, but also the ongoing bad decision or the nepotism you may be exercising right now to keep them employed with your company. Now, I consult with several different industries, and let me tell you, folks, nepotism is a term. Let me explain what nepotism is. Nepotism is almost like keeping somebody employed because they're part of the family. It's like exercising their right to be part of your business because, well, you like them, or, well, because they're part of the family. And as business owners, fortunately or unfortunately, I actually believe it's fortunately, that the great thing about business is that it's exactly that. It is business, and it's about building relationships based on trust, i.e. they trust you to pay them their salary each and every week, and you trust them to do the job responsibly and do what's necessary for your company and your business to turn a profit. Ultimately, who is responsible? Well, I believe you as the owners or owner need to assume the ultimate responsibility. And there's something else that always confuses me. You know, as I was growing up as just a wee lad, just a young lad, I remember having in excess of over 240 students before I employed or had my first official employee. I'm going to say that again. I had over 240 students before I even considered my first employee. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'm not sure if I was a super kid. I certainly wasn't that smart, but what I knew was I pretty much could handle most of the stuff myself. I pretty much took the ultimate responsibility. The only time actually I began to employ a staff or took on a new employee was when I wanted to expand the business and open more locations. Because I truly believe if you get this business right and you run it effectively and you're smart with your marketing approach, you can actually run a martial arts school single-handedly, maybe with a single part-timer. This makes the units extremely profitable. And if you have an idea that to turn over $10,000 a month with your martial arts school should be relatively easy, to keep your expenses below $5,000 a month as a single school owner-operator running in a 1,200 square foot location certainly should be doable. You should be able to pocket somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000 a month. Now that's $60,000 to $70,000 a year. That's a reasonable start as a salary. Of course, if we can increase your revenues to $15,000, that number quickly becomes $100,000, $120,000 a year. For you to run a business which literally, if you run it responsibly, you should be able to run this business alone, teaching no more than 4 days a week, running it almost part-time. Part-timers in the number of hours that you're open at the school obviously is magnified by the amount of hours that you do to market and consistently market your business. The number one person who you can't depend upon. Who is the number one person? Well, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure this one out. You are the only person you can depend upon. I deal with different clients, and some of them are in partnerships, and partnerships are often termed, as my accountant would say, as a sinking ship. And all the partnerships I've ever been involved in have been successful for a reasonable amount of time, but however, inevitably the partnerships do terminate for one reason or another. I mean, statistically, it's very difficult to live with your husband or wife, isn't it? And that's somebody you deeply care and understand, and cares and understands about you, and probably takes care of your every need, and vice versa. Never mind somebody that you're going to engage upon a working relationship where you could be spending 40, 50, even 60 hours a week with. And also in concert with that, you're then splitting the major part of the profits. You see, it's my belief that the real benefits of running a martial arts school are for the owner-operator. For the small owner-operator that runs a single site, that runs the business themselves, and is happy to make $50, $60, $70, $100,000 a year running a martial arts school. Now, I'm pleased to say that we've had clients generate over $500,000 in net profit from running a single location. But I'm not going to cast the bar that high. I want everybody who's listening to really get a grip of how important it is that once you assume the real responsibility of running your business, how easy it gets. You know, when you really assume the responsibility for recruiting new business, for taking care of the business at all times, you're the person that answers the telephone. Yeah, I can remember I was one of the first people to get a mobile phone. I remember this great big thing that I used to carry around with me. Could almost use it as a self-defense tool if things got really bad, I guess. But this phone would ring and I would answer it wherever I was consistently when I was first growing my martial arts business. I remember at the time I was 19 years old, and I drove a very nice car, and I had a lot of nice things even at a very young age. And the reason why that was because, well, I took care of business. I worked the business 24/7. If you called me at 11 o'clock at night, I'd take an information call. You know, it never seems to amaze me is that we live in a society, and certainly in my experience of America, where things really are easy. You know, it's easy, it's comfortable, everything can be done for you. You can really get by on quite a low income, living reasonably well, comfortable, with great food, eating out often, living in a beautiful apartment or a house, or houses for that matter, for very little revenue, for very little income. And some of you may be thinking, what am I drinking at the moment? But I assure you, I'm being deadly serious. Having come from a different side of the planet, things are a lot different across the pond, ladies and gentlemen. So for those of you in America, you are blessed. You truly are. But that blessing could also be one of the worst curses that you have, because it enables you to actually sit back on your laurels. It enables you to take things easy. It enables you to take care of anything else but the business. It enables you to get caught up in the drama and the media social hype that you're compounded with. Now, having spent a lot of time in Vegas, you are consistently pounded with media. Wherever you go, there's electronic billboards, there's guys on the street handing you flyers, there's guys on the street handing all sorts of things. But the bottom line is you are in a consistent turmoil of new information being placed upon you. And realistically, all you have to do to run your martial arts business is, well, recruit one new student every day you're in business. It really is that simple. From every person you know or interact with, from your existing student base that you have to take the responsibility to recruit just one new member to your business. You have to take care of the marketing. You have to take care of the appointment book. I was consulting with a client just this week